Could this be your ideal business? What is the ideal business? Well, there are many different business opportunities that require little capital outlay that ordinary everyday people can do, either part-time or full-time. However, before we consider them, let's look at an example of the conditioning that many of us have received either from our parents or from our schools. Most of us were taught to study hard and get a good education. This will enable us to get a nice steady job with good benefits and job security. We'll be able to buy a nice big house, enjoy regular holidays, travel the world in style, and live happily ever after. Well, unfortunately for most of us, that simply isn't true these days, for reasons we'll discuss in a minute. By the way, back in the good old days when job security actually meant something, this was known as the 40-40-40 plan, whereby people would work for 40 hours a week, 48 weeks a year, for 40 years, and retire on 40% of their income, with a $40 watch if they were lucky. But more about that later. This presentation is approximately 40 minutes duration, and it's not selling anything. This is information only, and the information is generic. In other words, it's not promoting any particular company, nor the goods or services of any one particular company. All that's asked of you is to relax and keep an open mind to this information because, as we know, the mind is like a parachute. It works best when it's open. So let's make a start. Have you noticed that these days many people are working longer hours and have less leisure time? It often takes two incomes to achieve the same that could be achieved in past years on just one income. Many people don't believe they're paid what they're worth and that their efforts are often not appreciated. There is a greater uncertainty in the workplace as a result of takeovers, mergers, relocation, downsizing, and right-sizing, not to mention capsizing. Job security has become a thing of the past. People are suffering more from stress-related illnesses than ever before. And on top of all that, the buying power of the age pension is diminishing rapidly. In fact, on the topic of the age pension and retirement, statistics show that for every 100 people who were aged 25 40 years ago, today, 1 is wealthy, 4 are financially independent, 14 are still working, 21 have deceased, and 60 are receiving a pension of some kind. Because most of us would prefer to be in the top 5%, we often look at different ways of earning money. One of the world's leading wealth coaches and author of best-selling books such as Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, in his book The Cash Flow Quadrant, outlines the 4 traditional ways of earning income. They are as an employee, as a self-employed or sole trader, as a business owner, and as an investor. Let's briefly consider the advantages and disadvantages of each. Most of the working population is engaged in the capacity of employee for someone or some organisation. The advantages of the employee status is that it provides regular income, which is usually known in advance, thereby enabling us to budget to meet our living expenses and hopefully have something left over to put into a savings fund. On the downside, as an employee, we are actually trading units of our time for units of our employer's money. And because time is limited, there is obviously also a limit to the amount of income that an employee can earn. Income from working in the role of an employee is known as active or temporary income because whether the employee is the cleaner or the CEO, if he or she doesn't turn up and perform, sooner or later he or she will be asked to move on. Perhaps the biggest disadvantage of relying on an ongoing, safe, steady income to meet long-term financial commitments is the issue of job security, or to be correct, the lack of it. Anyone who thinks that job security still exists probably also believes in the tooth fairy. The S or self-employed quadrant is also that of the sole trader and small business owner. Many professionals reside in the S quadrant, which is also known as the stress quadrant, for reasons that we'll discuss shortly. The main reason that people are attracted to this quadrant is because it gives them the opportunity to be their own boss and to have creative control over their business. They dislike taking orders from other people and being micromanaged. and really just want to do it their own way. However, what they often find is that whilst they do have creative control, they don't really own their own life. Their job does. If they aren't present, their customers disappear. Their income, like that of those in the employee quadrant, is active or temporary because if they stop work, their income also stops. Even professionals like doctors, dentists, accountants, as soon as they stop seeing patients or clients, their income also stops, at least from that source. And so this professional income is what is called active or temporary income. They are actually trading units of their time for units of other people's money. In reality, many self-employed people simply own their own job, and they, like those in the E or employee quadrant, are working for temporary income. There are two types of income: permanent and temporary income. Permanent income is also known as passive or leveraged income and is the type of income enjoyed by people such as inventors, authors, singers, songwriters, and investors. Temporary income is active income and in most cases would cease or slow considerably if the self-employed or sole trader ceased his or her business activity. This leads to comment on the topic of time and money. Many people have plenty of time but no money to enjoy it. Others are so busy working to earn the income they desire that they don't have the time to enjoy their money. Unfortunately, in our society today, very few people are able to achieve the delicate balance of having both time and money. It's interesting, most people think that we buy things with money, but in actual fact, we really buy them with hours of our life. Back to the cash flow quadrant and the B or business owner. This quadrant offers many advantages. For a start, it's a source of permanent income because the business owner is leveraging other people's time. This can lead to enormous income potential, but equally, there are several disadvantages that face traditional business ownership, not the least of which is the high capital outlay to buy a business or start one from scratch. And of course, high capital outlay also means high risk if things don't go according to plan. There is also the ongoing problem of employee hassles unless managed properly. The fourth and final method of earning income is by investing money, and there is a multitude of investment opportunities available. Investing money is a form of permanent income, and of course, it is passive rather than active because the investment is accumulating, hopefully, even while we sleep because it is utilizing the concept of leverage, in this case, money leverage. The dictionary defines leverage as the strategic advantage gained by employing a lever. With investing, money is the lever, and investors employ a lump sum of money to work for them in order to earn a dividend. However, in order to generate a reasonable amount of regular income on which to live, a large sum of capital is required. And of course, investing can be a risky business without knowledge and experience of the particular field of investment. One of the world's richest people, J. Paul Getty, is credited for having once said that there are 3 golden rules to creating financial independence. Be in business for yourself and pay yourself what you're really worth. Have a product or service that is in high demand, and duplicate your efforts through others over and over again. These 3 principles have been the cornerstone of the franchising industry since its inception. Whilst franchising has been around for 50 years or so, it was originally considered illegal, and the concept of franchising is still greatly misunderstood by many people today, even though it accounts for some 25 to 30% of sales of goods and services worldwide. In fact, the worldwide turnover of goods and services through franchising is estimated to be in excess of $1 trillion annually. The reason for the rapid growth of the franchising industry is that it is now considered as a legitimate turnkey business opportunity. By turnkey business, we simply mean that one doesn't have to reinvent the wheel when starting out in business because the system has been tried and tested and hopefully had all the bugs ironed out of it. Now, of course, not all franchise operations are successful. As a general rule, 30% fail within the first 2 years, another 30% break even, but the remaining 40% do very well indeed. These odds, whilst not great, are certainly much better than starting one's own business from scratch with a success rate of only 20%. The downside of buying into a franchise business is the initial investment, the startup cost. The franchise fee can range from anywhere between $15,000 to $20,000 for a lawn mowing or home service type franchise business, to anywhere up to and even more than a couple of $1 million for a high-profile fast food franchise. The average cost of buying into a franchise business in Australia and New Zealand at the present time is well in excess of $100,000. Now, for those of us who are concerned about job security or who simply want the freedom of owning our own business without running the risk of starting a business from scratch, but who don't have a spare $100,000 to buy into a franchise, there's no need for despair. There is still a way that one can have a business that adopts the 3 golden rules outlined by Getty and endorsed by many others. There is a way that anyone can get into business for themselves, have a high demand product or service, and duplicate their efforts without the need to find $100,000. It's a business model known as the People's Franchise or personal franchising. So let's do a bit of a comparison between the traditional and the personal franchising models, beginning by comparing the startup costs of each franchising opportunity. As previously mentioned, the startup cost of a traditional franchise business can be anywhere from $20,000 to $2 million. The startup cost of a personal franchise business ranges from as little as $20 up to approximately $3,000, depending on the company. In traditional franchising, there are considerable monthly overheads, such as lease or mortgage payments, power, often wages, and of course, there is also the monthly franchise fee paid to the franchisor, which is usually a percentage of the turnover of the business each month. In the personal franchising model, the monthly operational costs are absolutely minimal because most business owners work from their own home. What's more, in many cases, the personal franchisee can often claim a deduction for a portion of the mortgage or rent of their home because it's their legitimate place of business. Consequently, the risk of owning and operating a personal franchise business is much less than that of a traditional franchise business. However, the trade-off for a low-cost, low-risk business like personal franchising is that it usually takes a good bit longer to earn significant income. In a traditional franchise business, the franchise company usually guarantees a certain level of income from the outset, and the greater the franchisee's effort, the higher their income is likely to be. With personal franchising, the initial income is usually quite low compared to the amount of time invested. However, if a person chooses a company with products or services that offer good value for money, people will continue to buy them and tell others about them, and the residual income earned will increase dramatically, and the time and effort required to keep the business going will decrease almost exponentially. Another comparison topic is that of territorial boundaries. Traditional franchises usually have clearly defined boundaries. By comparison, personal franchises typically have no geographical limitations, meaning that the franchisee can work anywhere they like. Most traditional franchises require a physical presence, such as a shopping centre. Others involve having to be at a certain place at a set time, for example, a pet grooming or gardening franchise. Most personal franchise opportunities enable the franchisee to work from anywhere in the world, and usually at times they set themselves. All that's needed is a laptop and a mobile phone. The advantage of starting a franchise business, whether a traditional or a personal franchise model, is that if the company is reputable and has been around for more than a few years, there will most likely be a proven success system to follow. One of the risks of starting a non-franchise business from scratch is the unknown factors, the unexpected trials and tribulations that one may face along the way, which of course is the reason why so many startup businesses fail within the first 2 years. Now, personal franchising is also known as consumer direct marketing, referral marketing, and relationship marketing, but the most descriptive and appropriate name for this business model is network marketing. Now, if you've heard of some of these terms before, and maybe even had some involvement in the past, please put your prior knowledge or experience to the back of your mind, because things have changed a lot in recent years, thanks to developments like advanced computer technology, modern day communication methods, and of course social media. Like traditional franchising, network marketing has also been around for quite a number of years, and also like franchising was in the early days, it is greatly misunderstood. This is often because of exaggerated income claims that are sometimes made by people about the industry. Whilst it is possible for anyone, regardless of their education or present financial position, to earn a very large income from network marketing, it is the same as any traditional business or franchise, where the only place that success comes before work is in the dictionary. Network marketing is a legal, viable and ethical method of moving products from the manufacturer to the consumer and is recognised as such in almost every country in the world. So why don't more people know about network marketing? Well, until recently it was shunned by many people as being something people would do only if they couldn't get a real job. There was something of a stigma associated with network marketing because it wasn't normal. It wasn't something we were taught about at school. At school we were taught to do a good day's work, a good week's work, get paid, and then rinse and repeat each and every week. However, these days network marketing is much better understood and is attracting more business people and professionals than ever before. In fact, the network marketing industry, which many now refer to as a profession, is responsible for creating more individual millionaires per annum than any other business or profession. So, just what is network marketing? Well, as industry guru Tom Schreiter puts it, most people do network marketing every day. They just don't get paid for it. Network marketing is simply referring and recommending products or services to the people in our market, our circle of friends and associates. Not only do we do network marketing every day, but we've actually been doing it from a very young age. For example, when we told our school friends about our new shoes, school bag or lunchbox, or our favourite TV program, we were recommending or marketing to our network. These days, as adults, we're more likely to recommend a book, a movie, a restaurant, or the latest app we've just discovered for our mobile phone. But when was the last time we received a thank you bonus from the movie theatre or restaurant for making the recommendation to our friends? Chances are the answer is never. Network marketing makes it possible for us to choose a company that has a range of products or services that we feel comfortable about using ourselves and then telling others about, and getting paid for it. In order to understand how network marketing companies work, let's use the story about Emu Air. It goes like this. One day you hear about a great new airline, Emu Air, and you decide to give them a try. Whilst you're making your first booking, you're asked if you'd like to become a member of the Emu Air Loyalty Membership Program. And being the adventurous type, you say, why not? You're told that you can earn frequent flyer points not only every time you travel, but also if you tell someone else about Emu Air, you also receive points every time they fly. All they have to do is quote your membership number when they book their flight. If they wish to, they can also become a loyalty member. This enables them to also receive frequent flyer points, but it doesn't stop you from receiving points when they fly. You still receive some points because you referred them in the first place. What's more, because of Emu Air's highly advanced computer system that's able to track where referrals originate from, if the people who you refer also refer people, such as their family and friends, you even gain frequent flyer points each and every time they fly with Emu Air, and this happens to many levels deep. Network marketing is the same as Emu Air. When you join a network marketing company, you're rewarded for telling other people about the products or services of the company, and you're rewarded whenever someone you refer, or someone they refer, or someone they refer makes a purchase. The major difference between Emu Air and a network marketing company is that in network marketing, you don't receive frequent flyer points. Most network marketing companies have this strange custom of paying cash instead. Hopefully that custom doesn't put you off network marketing. Here's the bigger picture when looking at the difference between traditional companies and network marketing companies. In the traditional structure, there is the typical large corporate building. There is a managing director or chairman of the board, a general manager or CEO, various departmental managers, middle management, general staff members, often a team of casual employees, And of course, the purpose of all these people is to distribute products or services to their customers. The corporate structure of a network marketing company is exactly the same. Office building, general manager, departmental managers, staff, and so on. However, when it comes to the distribution or marketing of products and services, there is a significant difference. To illustrate the traditional distribution method, let's use the example of Fred, a budding inventor who devises the world's most efficient, reliable, works-every-time mousetrap. And because of Fred's lateral thinking, he calls this magnificent invention, you guessed it, the better mousetrap. Now, Fred doesn't earn a cracker until people buy it. So his first move is to find a manufacturer to produce the device in sufficient quantities. He then engages the services of a national distributor, who in turn appoints major distributors in each state or region. They liaise with their wholesalers, who deliver the cartons of Fred's wonderful rodent eradicating devices to the retailer. And of course, we, the happy customers, are at the bottom of the distribution pyramid. Now, every time the product moves from one link in the distribution chain to the next, money changes hands. Each person in the system has to be compensated for their role in getting the mousetrap from the manufacturer into our homes. In addition to the cost of producing and distributing the product, there is also a significant cost in advertising. Now, it's not known how much money is spent on average on mousetrap advertising, but with products like perfume, cosmetics, sporting goods, household cleaning products, and so on, the advertising dollar is astronomical. Movie stars, celebrities, sportsmen and women are often paid exorbitant advertising endorsements for allowing their name and face to be associated with a particular product. In the network marketing model, all those middlemen in the distribution chain don't exist because customers can buy direct, thereby allowing the company to use the money that is paid out to all the people in the traditional distribution chain to reward its distributors with bonus commissions. And because network marketing companies don't advertise, as a general rule, there is also another slice of the distribution pie that can be paid to ordinary everyday people like you and me. Think of the possibilities. You could earn a bonus payment from a single recommendation that turned into a few, and a few more, then dozens, eventually hundreds and more. This is what is known as leverage. One person can't do it all by himself or herself, but with other people also recommending the products, we can all earn residual bonus payments. It's the perfect business for people who want to earn money and also have the time to enjoy it. And speaking of time, let's now look at the concept of time leverage. Time leverage is central to all companies in network marketing, and when understood, it can change the way we look at earning income. In order to best explain what time leverage is, the following is a simple, hypothetical example of how it's possible for anyone to have a business with a turnover of $1 million in just 12 months. Now, just to repeat that, we're talking here about a turnover, not a profit of $1 million. In this illustration, we're going to share our knowledge about the network marketing industry with just one person each month and teach them to do the same. So, in the first month, we introduce this concept to someone who we care about and who we want to work with. Let's say this person's name is Sam. And so, not counting ourselves, we have one person in our team, Sam. In the second month, we help Sam to introduce this concept to one of her friends. And of course, we introduce it to our one person for that month also, maybe someone who wants to spend more time at home with his or her family. And so at the end of the second month, we have a total of 3 people in the team that we have started, not counting ourselves. And because we've been a good teacher and duplicated our knowledge and efforts through Sam, in the third month, these 3 people from month 2 introduce 3 more people, that is, 1 person each. We also introduce our 1 new person, perhaps someone who feels they're overworked and underpaid, and so the total is now 7. Now, right here, it's important to be aware of a strange phenomenon. In network marketing, and this applies to most companies, it's right here at about the 3-month mark that many people quit the business. The reason is that at the end of the 3rd month, many people think things aren't happening quickly enough. After 3 months, they only have 7 people in their team, and some of those people aren't as excited and active as we might be. Maybe they've been told that this is a get-rich-quick business and they're disappointed that they're not millionaires just yet. They simply feel that it's not happening quickly enough for them, and they just let it go. However, let's assume, for the purpose of the exercise, that these 7 people give it one more month and introduce it to just one person each. And of course, we introduce our one person. Perhaps someone who we know who has just recently had their hours reduced, or worse still, been made redundant. And so at the end of the 4th month, we now have 15 people in our team. And of course, if these 15 people each duplicate their efforts, and we introduce it to someone else who we know and care about, who also wants more out of life, do you see how we would now have 31 people in our team? By now, these people are starting to get the hang of this because they're beginning to understand how they can duplicate their efforts and help other people at the same time by sharing this information. Remarkably, there are now 63 people in the team that we started 6 months ago. Now, it's interesting to note the difference between the 1st and 3rd months when our team grows from 1 to just 7 people, and then in the next 3-month period when numbers grow from 7 to 63 by the end of the 6th month. All of a sudden, for those people with a small amount of patience, things are starting to happen. And as this process continues, by the end of the 10th month, we reach 1,025 people in our team. And in creating that team of over 1,000 people, we have personally introduced just 10 people ourselves. You see, we don't have to know 1,000 people or even hundreds of people because we have the right to share this with other people and they have the right to share it with their friends and acquaintances. Let's continue. In month 11, and finally by the end of the 12th month, we have created a team of some 4,095 people in just 12 months. It's quite amazing, really. It's a bit like the exercise of placing grains of wheat on a chessboard. On the first square, we place 1 grain of wheat. On the second square, 2 grains. 4 on the third, and so on, doubling the number of grains of wheat on each square as we go. By the end of the first row, on the 8th square, there are 128 grains. Now, if we continued the exercise for all 64 squares, assuming, of course, for the sake of the exercise, that the wheat would fit on the chessboard, how much wheat do you think we would have? Take a guess. Do you think it would fill a bucket, a bathtub, a 6x4 trailer, maybe a semi-trailer, a silo, or even more? If you guessed more than a silo full, you were correct. In fact, the answer is more than 600 billion tonnes of wheat, more than a fleet of grain ships could carry at any one time. It seems unbelievable, but if you'd like to check the calculations yourself, 1,000 grains of wheat weighs approximately 40 grams. Another example of duplication can be illustrated by the story of the young man who was offered a 1-month contract where he had to work in a particular job for 8 hours a day for all 31 days, including weekends. He was offered a choice of 2 methods of payment. His first option was to work for a rate of $1,000 a day, because it was a particularly difficult and unpleasant job. The other payment option was to work for just 1 cent total payment for the first day's work, 2 cents for the whole of the second day, 4 cents for the third, and so on, doubling up each day for the full 31 days. Well, having heard about the exercise with the grains of wheat on the chessboard, this young chap chose the latter method. However, by the end of the first week, he was a bit concerned that he'd made the wrong choice, receiving only 64 cents for his labour on day 7. Even by the end of the second week, he was still a bit worried about his decision because his payment for the 14th day was only $80. And you'll notice that we've rounded down for simplicity. However, by day 21, he knew he'd made the correct choice because that day's pay was in excess of $10,000. By the last day of the 4th week, his daily effort was worth over $1 million, and by now it would come as no surprise to learn that if his earnings for each day by this method were added together, they would come to in excess of $20 million. Not bad payment for a month's work, and certainly a lot more than the $31,000 he would have earned under the first payment option. Nevertheless, you may well say, but these are only numbers, and what do these examples have to do with people and the concept of time leverage? And that's a very good question. The answer is absolutely nothing. These are only examples of how the doubling principle works, and that it's not by mirrors or magic that we can create a team of 4,095 people in just 12 months. And of course, because these are people and not numbers, we need to be realistic. It's quite probable that not every one of these 4,000 people will be as excited about the concept of time leverage as it applies to network marketing as we might be. So let's say that as many as 75% of the people who join our team do absolutely nothing once they've joined. This isn't necessarily an exaggerated attrition rate, but some people may not be as dedicated to a long-term goal. Nevertheless, if as many as 75% of these 4,000 people decided to do absolutely nothing, that would still leave 1,000 people in our team. Let's also imagine for a minute that if each of these 1,000 people purchased just $1,000 worth of products or services in a year, just $20 a week, do you see how our business would have generated a turnover of $1 million? And even if we only received a small amount of commission from this $1 million worth of sales, it still adds up to a pretty tidy income. And what's more, this business has been created without plant and equipment, inventory, staff, warehousing, accounts receivable, and all the other costly overheads that are part of most traditional businesses with such a large turnover. So as you can see by this example, it is possible to have a business with a $1 million turnover in just 12 months. The difficult part is getting past the third month. Let's now consider some of the benefits of a network marketing business. For a start, anyone can be successful, regardless of their education, financial position, size, shape, or appearance. The key factor for success is to follow the tried and proven success formula created by the leaders who have already achieved success in the company. Simply put, to be coachable. As mentioned previously, network marketing is a low-cost, low-risk business, made even more so because most companies offer a full 30-day money-back guarantee on the business starter kit and the initial purchase of products or services. There is virtually no risk to put a toe in the water. The freedom to work when, where, how, and with whomever we like makes network marketing totally flexible. We can choose whether to work part-time or full-time, whether to work from home or travel the country or many countries in a truly portable international business simply using a laptop and mobile phone. Flexible hours means being able to care for infant children and to be with children after school hours. It also means not having to miss important milestones as the kids grow up. And when they have grown up, it's possible to bring them into the business because most network marketing businesses are also willable, saleable, and transferable. There are boundless opportunities to establish lifelong friendships with positive-minded, intelligent people who are committed to our success. Not everyone earns million-dollar incomes in network marketing. However, nearly everyone credits the great training that is offered by network marketing companies for the increase in their personal growth and development. People's confidence and self-esteem often grow enormously. Their personal grooming and physical appearance are also often impacted in a very positive way. In fact, in many cases, people's self-confidence often increases to such a degree that they're no longer even fearful of public speaking. A legitimate network marketing business offers numerous tax advantages. For example, it's possible to claim a portion of our mortgage or rent as a tax deduction because it is a legitimate business. Other items such as telephone, power, internet, and in some cases travel and meals can be claimed as a legitimate tax deduction also. The golden rule here is to consult our tax agent. Another great thing about network marketing is that it provides the stability of a professional business entity while still being portable enough to allow for international ambitions, regular travel, and a rewarding and enjoyable lifestyle. And unlike other business models, network marketing spares us the hassle of chasing bad debt, dealing with employee issues, and being stuck in peak hour traffic. We also don't have to worry about having to pay exorbitant franchise fees or the mountains of paperwork that go with operating other business types. There is no limit to the income that we can earn, so the right amount of effort can translate to our goal amount of earnings. But the best part is that much of the income is residual. We can set our network marketing business up to earn income even while we're not actively working. Another benefit of network marketing is that it offers the opportunity to contribute to others. The purpose of any business is to make a profit. However, the only way that a company or an organisation stays in business is by marketing products or services that make someone's life better. This is the major premise of any reputable business, to make someone's life better. With network marketing, we can do this in two ways: by introducing people to products or services that make their life better in some way, and or by introducing them to a business model that makes their life better through the financial opportunity. And by having more money and time freedom, people are more able to contribute to society by donating their time and finances to worthwhile causes. Network marketers are not in business alone. In fact, network marketing relies on positive collaborative relationships, a refreshing change from the often brutal corporate ladder or pyramid. In fact, network marketing is the perfect example of the famous adage, "The only way for me to get what I want out of life is to help enough other people get what they want." There is no other business that exemplifies this basic principle made famous by Zig Ziglar. When it comes to rewards and recognition, network marketing companies are very big on publicly acknowledging the achievements of their people, often rewarding them with travel incentives that are fun, enjoyable and exciting. So to summarise, we've looked at current economic trends and the 4 traditional ways of earning income, including franchising. We also looked at the features, advantages and benefits of network marketing and how the concept of time leverage works. Now, the fact that you're still viewing this presentation is a fair indication that you may be interested in starting a career in network marketing. And if that's the case, what is your next step? The next step is the 2 R's. Decide your reason. Clearly define just exactly what benefits you would like to gain from a network marketing business, and do your research. The main reason that many people give for wanting to start their own network marketing business is money. However, money is not a powerful motivating factor. It's what we would do with the money that keeps us motivated. So be specific with your reason. Would you pay off the mortgage or buy a new home, maybe a new car, or travel the world? Maybe fund your education, or your children's education, or your grandchildren's education. Maybe your goal would simply be to escape the rat race. Whatever your reason is, it is achievable through network marketing, but make sure you clearly identify your reason. The second R is your research, and this should include 4 particular areas: the company itself, its track record, its reputation, branding and level of professionalism, the quality and value of its products and or services, the marketing plan, which refers to how people get paid, and finally, the training and support program offered by the company. There's a separate video entitled How to Choose a Company, covering these 4 areas in detail. Well, congratulations. Give yourself a pat on the back for being open-minded enough to consider the information in this video. If you're ready to take the next step towards achieving your goals, have a look at the video, How to Choose a Company, and then get back in touch with the person who invited you to view this presentation. Wishing you all the success you deserve.